Welcome to the 32081, a podcast where we cover life in the St. Johns County area.
I love being a part of such a great community.
If you're looking for the latest events, school information, local sports, restaurants, real estate news, and more, you've come to the right place. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
The show starts now with your hosts, The Hardy Party.
And now I'd like to welcome a special guest. Actually, I say special guest, but he's been on before. Played in the AFL for 8 seasons, 6 with the Green Bay Blizzards. Coached, played in college, and now he joins us here. Also known, I found out, Coach, in your days in the AFL, as Superman, Mr. Coach Garth. How you doing, Coach G?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
See, I do my research. You don't know that. So now every now and then you're going to hear on the sideline, "Hey, Superman, can I get a quote?"
I see that. That was a long time ago. Trust me.
So because I actually was reading about you that in the AFL, you were also named one of the top 10 Ironmen, I heard, because you play both ways. You play linebacker and wide receiver in the AFL too. Is that correct?
That is correct. My last year, I want to say it was 2010. And that was the first time that they created the list. And I was number 10 on the list. I retired in 2010, and my jersey number was 10. So it all worked out.
Well, I guess once you play basketball and football like you did, at New Mexico State, is that correct?
Yeah, New Mexico State. Yep, absolutely.
I guess your jumping abilities just came in on both sports right there, right? So, hey, Superman, you can fly.
To be honest with you, I don't know where it came from. It wasn't something that I created. It was just something that the fans started calling me, and I just kind of took it and ran with it, and it just kind of stuck with me throughout my time in arena football.
See, the only thing I couldn't get, I'm thinking about the Superman thing, like you said, and I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, I can see that. But the one thing I couldn't figure out is that Superman was kind of quiet, and you're anything but quiet on the football field. So
yeah, I don't see that. That's completely opposites when it comes to that, because I was just as bad when I played. I was always talking. I was always yapping to the other team, always yapping to the coaches. Like I was more like Deadpool than I was Superman.
But, Coach, like I told you, one thing I want to bring you on is that people are looking now for their middle schoolers or soon to become high schoolers. They're, what do I do? What do I train? What are some activities out there? And one of the things I've really enjoyed seeing is the way you work with these kids at various ages. I mean, it's very obvious that you love kids at all ages. I mean, it's very obvious. But I want to talk about specifically the Candy Crew, and then the one that's I really find interesting also is the high school football prep. But the Candy Crew you have set up is for speed and agility training. You do it on Sundays from 3 to 3:45, $15 per session. Can't beat that. And it's for first and fifth graders. So can you talk a little bit about the Candy Crew, what parents can expect and what kids can expect when they go out there?
Well, it goes way back to when I first got here. So when I first got here, I don't know if a lot of people remember Grant Stevens and Ben Bogle and all those guys, but those are some of the guys that I was working with early when I first moved to Jacksonville. And Ben had a little brother who's now Chase Bogle, and he used to always want to come out there and just run around with us and bring his friends with him. And they were actually like pretty good at some of the drills that we were doing. And I was like, maybe these kids aren't too young to learn how to, to learn proper running form, to learn how to do some of these agility drills. So we started allowing them to come, and it just worked out. And a lot of kids, we did it. Most of it we did at Davis Park, and we also did it at Plantation Park. And you would get more and more kids, to come out there. So we had a bunch of kids who did it, and it was just fun. It gave the kids something to do, and they eventually ended up being pretty good, if you look at some of the guys that we've worked with. We try to have fun. We try to make it as hard of work as we would as some of the older guys, but at the same time, we still want them to develop some skill, and more so it's just teach them proper mechanics. And that's what it all boils down to, is just teaching these kids proper mechanics. So when they do get older, they have a better understanding of what's expected from them.
Coach, you talk about the mechanics, and the one thing I want to ask you about is not just the mechanics around speed and agility, but the mechanics around going to a workout. Because one thing I learned in watching Derek, and also Abigail for that matter, but watching Derek with his football training and baseball training, was that one of the mechanics people seem to forget about is that if you get in the habit when you're young even in first and fifth grade, and you get used to going to these workouts, and you work, even as a kid, you kind of learn to balance it, right? I mean, your parents are helping you, but you know that, hey, 2 nights a week, I'm going to go do speed and agility. And all of a sudden you get older and you build on it. It seems like it's a lot more beneficial to kids to make that a habit. Hey, you're going to go get your exercise and you're going to get your training and you're going to go do this. And as you get older, you can slowly build on that to where it just becomes a habit for them.
Yeah, for me, I try my best to create muscle memory. That's why I want to make sure that we never cancel, right? So again, when you're not training and you're not doing anything, you feel like, oh man, like I'm falling behind. Like that's what I want to create in a lot of these kids is that muscle memory. Like I have to work out. I need to work out. I need to be doing something. I can't sit at home and play video games all day. And if I do, I have to work out first, So again, if you look at a lot of what's going on in this generation now, it's hard to get kids back outside. It's hard to get kids back on bikes and skateboards. It's hard to get them in the parks to play basketball again. Like, just be active in general, and this gives those kids an opportunity to at least do something active for an hour throughout the day and try to create that muscle memory. So it isn't always just video games or sitting at home and doing nothing. I want them to feel like they need to be out doing something.
And also one thing before we talk about the high school prep, but one thing that I think really makes you a standout coach and different from a lot of the rest is that you seem to know how to push the kids regardless of age, what they're, how far you can push them. But then I've also noticed you're the first one to put your arm around them and say, hey, I might get on you, but here, I love you, that kind of thing. So is that also part of that you're showing that, hey, I'm your coach, you can trust your coach, get some exercise in speed and agility. It just seems like it's the whole package for these kids to start out in first and fifth grade and really start working with a great coach such as yourself.
Well, for me, I think coaching starts with building the relationship, building that trust, and them understanding that it's not about me. Everything that we're doing right now is to help benefit you, is to help you. So I'm here for you. And then once they understand that, then you have the ability to gauge how you can talk to them, how you can coach them, and build that trust. And everybody's different. Some kids you can yell at. Some kids you have to put your arm around. It's that age, first through fifth graders, yelling doesn't work. Yelling doesn't work. I figured that out. But if you bring yourself down to their level, you look them eye to eye and you talk to them, they got a better understanding. And that's what I try to do.
So now it's a great segue into the high school football prep program that you have. And at the time when I looked at this, it's $150 a month for 7th and 8th graders. Now this includes weightlifting. So they do weightlifting 3 days a week, speed and agility for 1 day a week. And I got to tell you, I looked at the 150 and my first thought was, $150 a month to deal with middle schoolers? Because I was an umpire coach, so I know coach deal with middle schoolers, right? I got it because I dealt with a lot of coaches that were just like drawn at the end going, oh, Todd, just get me through this game. So the question I have for you on this one is the reason why I like this one a lot is for the 7th and 8th graders also is that transitioning from middle school to high school is big enough. I mean, it's huge for these kids. And the one thing I've noticed with athletes, especially, working out, getting to know people, is that once you start that first day, you're going to 9th grade and you've done these programs and you've worked out with these, it's one less stress factor. People, you've bonded with people. So it's one thing less you have to worry about with high school. So if you could talk a little about your program and what you do with this, and if you've seen that this really helps these students into a transition into high school, I'd appreciate your thoughts on that.
Well, how it came about, I had a parent call me and say, hey, my kid wants to play another sport. It's not really big in track, doesn't really like wrestling. So he's thinking about getting into weightlifting, but he doesn't want to be embarrassed because he's not strong. And it was just like why aren't, it kind of struck a nerve. And it's like, why aren't these kids, coming into high school already lifting weights, already, being prepared for high school football. So I said, maybe we should start lifting weights. Maybe we should start taking away that doubt from these kids that, I don't want to do another sport because I'm not strong enough. I don't want to do another sport because I'm not fast enough. Like, we don't want to limit what they can do. Now, what I want to say first is this isn't just like this has nothing to do with niche football, right? Like,
right.
I'm big on growing players and helping kids reach their full potential. I want these kids to go in with confidence, be prepared, and be ready to compete at a high level. And then in the end, all the work that they put in get what they've earned. For me, that's at the end of the day, and I say this all the time, and you can ask anybody that's known me for the last 25 years, my purpose on this earth, why God created me, is to try to change somebody's life every day, whether that's at IMG Academy, whether that's at Arkansas State University, whether that's at Vanderbilt University. Wherever I am, that's my ultimate goal. I don't care who it is. The work is the work. If you want to work, I would never, ever prevent you from doing that. And that's all this is. It's just me trying to help kids learn how to work and prep them to help any program that they decide to go to. It's really about the kids. And if anybody ever came and watched me, that's what they'll see.
I agree with you. This is about the kids. And speaking of that, the one thing I like to mention also, because you kind of started to go there, last thing to mention before we wrap up is this isn't just for football players. The reason why I stress that is because, that your program is good for whether they're playing soccer, whether they're gymnasts, whether they're football players, baseball players, it doesn't matter because it can be used in almost any sport that these kids decide to play.
What I want to say to anybody listening is, do you go to a gym and work out? And if you do, then what's the difference?
There you go. Yeah, good point.
The only difference is you're going to a gym with your peers, you're working out, you have a scheduled workout, you're working with someone who knows what he's doing when it comes to, speed and agility, when it comes to, weightlifting, when it comes to anything that involves any sports. Again, I wasn't just a football player. I never lost a high school basketball game. So it's for all sports. It's for soccer, it's for lacrosse, it's for track. Weightlifting and speed and agility is a part of everything you do, and in life too. I mean, these kids are learning healthy habits. We track their protein intake every week. We give them a meal plan if they want one. We're teaching healthy habits as well. So it ain't just weightlifting, right? We're teaching them how to be coachable. We're teaching them how to listen. We're teaching them how to follow directions. It's way more than just coming in and lifting weights. For me, if I have the ability to send my kid to do something like that for $9 a day, which is way cheaper than any gym membership you're going to have, with a personal trainer who's been, doing sports for the last 30 years, I'm going to do it. I'm sorry, I'm in.
And parents, just to let you know, Coach G's not kidding about the meal plan because we get it from him. And if you ever try to do meal planning, you don't have to worry about it because he sends it to you and your kids will tell you this is what I have to eat. So it's a beautiful thing from a parent standpoint. And Coach, unfortunately for me, the last time I checked, I'm not in middle school or high school, and I don't think you'll take a birth certificate and crown. So I think I have to keep going to the gym. But I definitely encourage either one of these programs. You're just phenomenal. For the parents that want to get their kids involved in either one of these programs, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can just go right to the website, which is www.d and the number 1 and then day one. So www.d1day1.com, and they can just sign up right on the website.
Awesome. That's perfect. Coach, I know that you are actually headed to do a training session right now, so I don't want to keep you any longer. Yeah. Coach G, a.k.a. Superman, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. And again, I encourage all the parents, you will not be disappointed to sign your kids up either for the Candy Crew or the high school football prep. And it's not just for football, it's for any kid that wants to get a workout in, get a little extra work in, regardless of what sport or even if they play a sport. I definitely recommend it. So thanks again. We appreciate you joining us on this podcast, Coach G.
No problem, man. One more thing. Right now, we got a special going on. Any sixth graders that want to get involved, we're offering it to them for a week free so they can come in, kind of get a feel for everything. All parents have to do is go to the website, sign them up for the free session, and we'll get them going.
Awesome. Thank you again. Have a good workout tonight. Can't wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Thank you very much for having me. We'll talk to you soon.
And again, special thanks to Coach G for joining us here on the podcast. And that will do it for this edition of the 32081.
Thank you for listening to the 32081. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Please don't forget to subscribe to the show so you can join us for the next episode.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
Until next time, take care.